Arsenal are looking, Chelsea are looking. 3 Premier League clubs definitely at the table, but Liverpool are put off by the valuation, exactly the same as in January. They'll not move, as I understand it, for Moises Caicedo. With Ugarte, the situation is complicated because there are 2 sides and they are slightly different. So we have to reflect them and report them with balance. The Chelsea side is simple. They say that they pulled out late last night, even though there was confidence and optimism surrounding a deal. And they did that because there was no market value in it. And why was there no market value in it? Because PSG offered more on the player side. That's the neat Chelsea narrative. And obviously, when we're talking about market value, we have to be very clear that we are saying on the player side, because both clubs were prepared to meet the release clause, which is 60 million euros. Now, whether or not Chelsea wanted a different structure is up for debate, but naturally, regardless of how you pay or what you offer, it is accurate to say that both clubs believed the 60 million euros release clause was market value. What Chelsea are saying is that they saw no market value in bringing on the player on the terms that they would need to match or get close to PSG's offer. And as a consequence, they pulled out. From the PSG side, they maintain that they did not increase their offer late last night. They did not double the wage from 5 million euros to 10 million euros. Quite the opposite. PSG are adamant that their overall number offered to Ugarte is lower than has been reported and has not budged. And it was always more lucrative than Chelsea's. So the halfway house, if we try and accommodate what both sides are saying, is that PSG's offer was always higher and Chelsea were not prepared to match it. The Chelsea side says that PSG perhaps moved to increase their offer. And we hear that in Portugal. And then we have the counter side, which is PSG's argument, as was also reported by L'Équipe, that Chelsea tried to offer a more preferable deal to Sporting to get them to accept the Chelsea offer and put pressure on Ugarte to join Chelsea. And within that structure, L'Équipe allege that it wasn't just a negotiation for Ugarte, it was talk also of investment within Sporting. Chelsea firmly deny that. So then when we look at what happened last night, one side says PSG came in with an offer, Chelsea withdrew because they didn't want to match the wage. The other side says it's more than a coincidence that L'Équipe talk about a negotiation that would have been questioned because it wasn't just for the player. It had an aspect of investment within it. And when that story came out, Chelsea walked away. And it would be normal for Sporting to also distance themselves from that and want to buy into the narrative of PSG's offer was just better. Chelsea were not prepared to match it. So we have 2 completely different sides and we have to reflect those sides. And ultimately, from PSG's point of view, they now don't want to get into a war of words with anybody. They just want to try and complete the player. And they believe that they can do that because they've got a clear path and they'd already agreed terms. But once again, PSG are adamant that this number of 10 million in wages is not anywhere close to what they've offered. And they're adamant that they did not increase any offer in the late hours of last night. Their offer was done days ago and they stuck to their valuation because it was always higher than Chelsea's one. So that's the 2 sides. We have to reflect the 2 sides. Chelsea have to move on and PSG are confident of signing the player.
Yeah, look, as you say, there were so many stories yesterday, and I sat down yesterday. I kind of took a break from social media in the afternoon, sat down in the evening, saw the stories about the investment, saw a lot of press from across Europe stating, Chelsea had pretty much got it over the line, just for an hour later to see your tweet around 10:30 say that had happened. Of course, Chelsea fans now are wondering what next. And a story that's come out this morning is that, and I want to read this verbatim, it says that Chelsea are optimistic they can reach a deal for Moises Caicedo. And reportedly will agree to sell Caicedo, will reportedly agree to sell Caicedo this summer, but could want as much as 100 million for the player. Is Caicedo where you see Chelsea focusing next? And how expensive could this deal be based on what you're hearing from sources?
Well, Chelsea have always had Caicedo on the list.